Hey guys, what's going on? It's Xavier coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Today we're going to rank the top 10 poisoners, counting down from 10 all the way to 1, the best poisoner in the game. We're going to rank these champions based on their overall utility with a strong bias towards the amount of poison damage they can put out. So the best poisoner isn't necessarily the best champion on this list, but it's the best champion in terms of their overall utility mixed with the fact that they do lay poisons in the game. Now at the time of this recording, there are 5%, the strong version poisoners inside the game, including, we have to give a couple honorable mentions to, there's only one common and only one uncommon in the game. Actually, strike that. There's only one common, there's a couple uncommons in the game that have the 5% poison. We gotta give a shout out here to my man, where is he? Way down here. He is Deathhound. So the only common in the game with a 5% poison is Deathhound, and here it is on his A2. He lays 5% poison. So if you're just starting out in the game and you land a Deathhound, hey, you could do worse for a common champion, although it's probably not advisable to pour any resources into any common or uncommon champion in the game. The other guy is Outlaw Monk, who we've done actually a guide on here. Outlaw Monk can actually be used up until maybe Brutal Clan Boss, providing you have the gear. He also lands the strong version of poison. Now, with the two honorable mentions out of the way, let's go ahead and move on to our list, starting at number 10. So coming in at number 10 is the easiest champion on this list to get, obviously because he is a starting champion, and it is Kale. You can use Kale really at any difficulty clan boss. Some people even use him in Ultra Nightmare, but I would probably cap it at Nightmare in terms of his overall utility, and then you want to start upgrading to one of the other champions as your main poison layer on your clan boss team. Now, why is he good? He has the weak version of poison, the 2.5, on his A1, landed for 2 turns. And then he has the strong version of poison on his A3, and this can be booked down to a 4-turn cooldown. So the reason that he's on this list is not just that he has 2 poison abilities that stacks nicely, he can put out a lot of damage against the clan boss, but also he is incredibly easy to book, and he's a really versatile champion outside of just clan boss as well. Definitely makes the list at number 10. Next up is Julianna from the Sacred Order. Now, Julianna is really great. She has a strong version of poison on her A2, lethal partner, and then what makes her really incredible is she also is one of those champions that has both the poison, the strong version on the A2, as we mentioned, and also HP burn on her A3. So again, in terms of overall poisoners, they're definitely better in the game, but in terms of overall versatility inside one champion, having both the strong version of poison and the HP burn on one champion definitely makes her incredibly solid. And it should be noted that it's a 3-turn strong version of poison. That's why Julianna makes the list at number 9. Next up is Aerith, staying in the Sacred Order here, and a lot of people use Aerith on clan boss or as their main poison dealer. He's really nice and he can put out more poison damage than Julianna. On his A1, he actually has an ability of stealing 1 random buff from the target. On his A2, he's hitting 4 times at random. Each one of these hits has a 100% chance of landing, providing you have the accuracy, of landing the strong version of poison for 2 turns. Really solid ability, hitting 4 times. So the chance to lay up to 4 poisons in one ability. The only downside is he really needs to be booked out. The upside is, well, he's not as hard, as difficult to book as some other champions on this list, but he comes in at number 8. So coming in at number 7 is Xavier from the Dark Elves. Now we're actually getting to like another threshold of champions where you could easily make the case that any of these champions from here on out could be number 1 on the list. It was really tough to rank these, but Xavier comes in. She has a lower defense out of anybody I think that we're going to be talking about from here on out, so you did need to build her with a strong team around her, so we're taking that into consideration. And also, she's a legendary, so she is more difficult to book up. Now talking about her abilities, check it out. On the A1, 3 times each shot has a chance, a 40% chance of landing a 5% poison for 2 turns, and it's always going to be 40% chance on that A1. Now on the A2, attacks all enemies, each hit has a 75% chance when booked up of placing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. So 2 chances at 75% on the A2, and then 3 chances at 40% on the A1. having 2 poison abilities is great, and then to add even more kind of meat to the bone here, we have her deadly catalyst on her A3. Attacks all enemies cannot kill this way, cannot be revived, deals damage from all poison debuffs to the target instantly. Poison debuffs will only deal half the damage of the standard damage when this skill hits bosses. So there's a give and a take there, of course. All your 5% poisons that you worked so hard to land will now be 2.5% poisons, so it has that damage reduction. At the same time, building her as part of a greater poison team helps cleanse those poisons off and allows you to land more overall. So again, a kind of a give and a take on that third ability. Either way, she definitely belongs on this list. Coming in at number 6 is the best poisoner in the game, just in terms of sheer poison. If we were ranking total potential damage output as a poisoner, assuming they don't die because his defense is not that high either, he's pretty squishy, so sustainability is a factor here, but nonetheless, it would be Occult Brawler. So Occult Brawler comes in on this list at number 6 because, you know, a little bit squishier, doesn't have much other versatility other than landing those poisons in his kit, especially when the debuff spots are full on Clan Boss. But either way, let's go ahead and talk about what makes him so amazing, and it's really his passive here, guys. And check it out, has a 70% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff on a random enemy for 4 turns at the start of every turn. That's incredibly good. Of course, he's placing the weak version on himself as well, but you can cleanse that off, and you have to kind of build him with a poison cleanser or just be using his A2 mixed in there, which cleanses himself as well. Now, check it out on the A1, to add even more, has a 50% chance of landing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns, can be booked up to 60% chance. So like I said, the 4-turn strong version of poison makes this guy a beast in Clan Boss, and that's really all he's used. That's the only area of the game he is used for. An amazing poisoner in terms of overall versatility in his kit, just not really there, but nonetheless, Occult Brawler is the guy when you're talking poison. Coming in at number 5 is a Skinwalker, and it is Steelskull. Steelskull is amazing because he is actually a support champion. He'll help keep your team alive. You guys are probably familiar with this champion, but he's a beast, and he also does poison damage, which makes him excel especially against Clan Boss. So check out his poison ability here on his A1. So his poison on the DK attacks one enemy 2 times, has a 10% chance of placing the strong version of poison for 2 turns. Now that can be booked all the way up to 35% chance, so putting books in Steelskull is mandatory. Steelskull really shines when you put him on a counter-attack team as well, so he's landing those poisons consistently while all the while healing your team up. If we look at the rest of his kit, removes all debuffs from a target ally, then heals them by 40%, and then on the A3, a increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns, and then heals all allies by 20% of their max HP as well. So that is Steelskull. He is just a beast. You guys who have him definitely appreciate his overall utility and his utility as a poisoner as well. They definitely stack up again, especially on a counterattack team. Coming in at number 4 is Badalazar. Now, Badal, you can make an argument he is the best champion on this list in terms of overall utility, but again, we're placing a little bias on the actual poison, so Badal and Steelskull definitely fall in that category. If it was just poison, again, Occult Brawler would be at the top. But Badal is so good, and he's a poisoner, so it's hard to ignore him and not rank him top 5 on this list. So check out his abilities. He has the AoE heal on the A1 when he does the AoE attack, and on the A2 it's all about his malice ability, right? Removes all debuffs from all allies, places 2 15% continuous heal buffs on all allies for 2 turns, and then places 2 strong versions of poison on all enemies for 2 turns as well. Just an insane ability, probably one of the most, well-known or strongest abilities in the game, all to have on one 3-turn cooldown when booked ability. The downside is you really need to book your Badal if you want to use him, but hey, if you have him, there's probably no better legendary champion to invest your books in than Badalazar. He also gives you the ability to not have to use lifesteal gear on your champions inside Clan Boss, and he's putting out that poison damage. He's healing everybody. He's insane. That's why he comes in at number 4 on the list. Coming in at number 3 is Nethril, staying with the Undead Horde. Now, Nethril is known as one of, if not the best poisoners in the game, right below or right alongside or right above Occult Brawler, depending on how you look at it, but Nethril puts out a ton of damage. Nethril is on my Clan Boss team as the main poisoner. So, Nethril's great. And why? Well, it's his A1, right? You can just keep spamming his A1, attacks one enemy 3 times, has a 30% chance of landing the 5% poison for 2 turns. That can be booked all the way up to 50%. So Nethril on a counterattack team especially really shines, having that 50% chance on the A1 to land those poisons on 3 hits is really super solid. So Nethril, you know, even when you're using him in Clan Boss, you know, you're just spamming the A1 unless the debuffs are full on Clan Boss, in which case you can switch to his A2 and his A3. Now, overall utility, speaking outside of Clan Boss here, Nethril is one of my favorite on the list as well. He has this Bat Swarm ability, which is insane, both in the arena, in spiders, really in anywhere. Decreases turn meters by 75%. Nethril's insane. He also has the AoE stun on his second ability, Ghastly Horrors. Nethril, definitely one of my favorite champions in the game. Certainly a champion on a lot of players' wish lists. Definitely makes this list, coming in at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is Venus. Venus is like Julianna on crack, on steroids, on whatever. Name your analogy, she is insane. I could have ranked her number 1. I'll let you guys guess who that's going to be, but let's take a look at her kit. Venus definitely is a champion that I don't own, which I wish I did. She can be used just everywhere. Look at her reviews here. Just insane across the board, guys. If you have Venus, I am jealous of you. So on her A1, she has her poison ability, attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing a 5% poison for 2 turns. So already, just on her A1, we're already close to Nethril. Of course, Nethril has one more hit, one more 50% chance of landing that poison, but insane, right? Now, what makes her better than Nethril on this list in terms of overall utility are her other abilities. Attacks all enemies, AoE, decreased defense, and strong version of Weaken for 2 turns. Thank you very much. That can be booked up to 100% of landing. And then on her A3, as if that's not enough, she has an HP burn that can be booked up to 75% chance on a 4-turn cooldown. Are you kidding me? Venus is insane. And then removes all buffs from all enemies and has a 50% chance of granting an extra turn when Cupidus is on the same team. Venus is, with or without Cupidus, Venus is just a sick champion inside this game. Comes in at number 2. It's really sad that I don't have the number 1 or the number 2 champions on this list, but number 1, that's right, it is Dracomorph. Dracomorph does it all. I mean, he's an insane champion inside this game, similar to Venus, definitely my top 2 most wanted here inside the game, along with Julianna, who I mentioned in a lot of these videos. But anyway, let's go ahead and cover his kit here. His A1 is actually really unique, and it's nice against Clan Boss too. Attacks one enemy, damage increases by 10% for each debuff on the target. So that's really good too, because the Clan Boss likely is going to have close to 10 debuffs at all times. That's almost 100% extra damage on your Draco. And then on the A2 is his poison ability, attacks 4 times at random. Each hit has places a 5% poison debuff on 3 turns. Really solid. And then again, we have the strong version of Weaken, the strong version of decreased defense on all enemies for 2 turns on the A3. Need I say more? This guy is a stud. He's incredible. Again, very jealous of people who have him. So there we have it, guys. That is my list of the top 10 poisoners inside Raid Shadow Legends. If you're looking for more poisoners, or you're looking for a more comprehensive poison guide for Clan Boss specifically, check out Hell Hades. He has a great Poisoner Clan Boss episode where he breaks down all these champions and way more in terms of their overall skill and versatility and overall poison damage output. I use that along with a few websites. Again, shout out to Amulove. I'm gonna say it right one of these days, but I'll include that link in the show notes as well. Guys, maybe I'll do another one including no legendaries in the future, because I know, let's face it, not all of us have these legendaries, but hey, the information is still good to know, at least in my opinion. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and subscribe, turn on that bell notification. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching, and as always, take care, guys.